Hi, I'm Kim Addonizio, and I want to welcome you to my class, which is going to be called Five Things I've Learned About Shaping the Personal Essay. And I started out as a poet. I published my first book of poems at 40. And then I got interested in fiction, spent some time writing. I published a couple books of short stories and a couple of novels. So was always a poet. But what turned me toward the essay was that I wrote a memoir that failed to sell. So I spent a lot of time working on a memoir, and then it got rejected in many, many places. And I was feeling very frustrated about that. But I decided to turn and try to write a collection of essays and center it around my writing life, basically. And that became a sort of memoir in essays called Bukowski in a Sundress. So one of the things I want to talk about in this workshop is just living spherically, finding different, which is from Federico Fellini, the great Italian filmmaker, and talked about kind of living in all directions at once. And, that means when one door closes, you look around and you see what else might be possible. So I ended up structuring this book around my writing life and came up with an entire book of essays and got really drawn into this, what you can do with the personal essays. And that's what I really want to talk to you guys about during my session. So I want to tell you a bit about my own journey and also talk about some of the challenges of writing this kind of essay in terms of it being your story, being vulnerable, having other people read it, all the things that come up when you're writing about your own life. And so a little bit about that. We're going to do a quick, fun writing exercise that will, very simple, no skill required, but it's going to give you a lot of ideas, I think, for writing more things in the future. So I think it'll give you a lot of possibilities for thinking about your life if you're struggling with, okay, I'd like to write some essays, or I've written some, but I don't really know what to write about, or, I feel my life's not that interesting. But the truth is, the human experience is interesting on all levels, from the smallest little thing that happens to the largest. So it doesn't need to be drama. It just needs to be a story that you need to tell about your life. And what we're going to look at besides that is, okay, then what do you do? How do you shape it? So we're going to read some short excerpts from experts, and take a look at some writers, some of which you may know, some of which you may not, and how have they put together their pieces? What are some ways you can approach writing, starting with the opening and how you can really draw in your audience and draw in your reader, and of course, keep them there and come up with a compelling and moving piece of writing that is not only about the self, but somehow can speak to the larger world and our common shared experience, in ways that you can kind of move out from the chronological. So not just this happened and then this happened, the end. But what do you do to sort of shape it and make it more interesting in the middle part? And what are some ways to go? So that's really what we're going to talk about and think about. I'm really excited about this class because I love this form. After I published my book, Bukowski in a Sundress, I continued to write poetry, but I continued to be drawn to the essay and what it can do. And now I'm working on a second collection of essays, and I'm very excited about that. And I've been reading and thinking a lot about it, so I'm just excited to share some of that with you guys. Hopefully we'll have time for a little Q&A for some of your questions as well. And I think you'll end up with some new inspirations, some seeds for future writing. Maybe I'll point you to a few writers that you can read and study. We're going to talk about reading like a writer and why that's so crucial, and how you can really use these things to jump off to ideas for your own work, and strategies for your own work, and a few ways to pattern your own essays. So that's what we're going to be up to. I hope you'll join me. I'm really excited about this class. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and give you some good practical tips as well for moving forward. And I hope to see you there.